77 WABC.
This is Sid and Friends in the Morning.
No, I get by with a little help from my friends.
We'll be in your show plenty because you have a great show and you have big ratings, Sid. I don't even know if you know how good your show is, okay? But you have big ratings and you have a great show and you've been my friend for a long time and I appreciate it.
You tell him President Trump, damn right, was just with the president last Thursday. You know who was in town last week? Jim Jordan. I love Jim Jordan. That's a good congressman right there. Maybe the best. The chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. I saw him on Fox News early Sunday morning. I think he was with Nicole Malliotakis on Sunday. Now back, I believe, in the great state of Ohio. Here he is, my friend Jim Jordan. Jim, good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Good to be with you, Sid.
Are you back home?
Yeah, we had a great time. You know, we're back in Ohio, going around our district today. We're out driving to kind of the eastern part of our district. But yeah, had a great time. We had a wonderful event there for Nicole on Staten Island, and then was hanging out with D'Esposito and Garbarino, some great members there on Long Island. They was there to get the endorsement receive the endorsement that the Conservative Party gave President Trump, and then some great law enforcement organizations supported the president as well. So. Fun weekend, short weekend, but a fun weekend there in New York.
Anthony D'Esposito was a very, very, very close friend of mine. In fact, that's right. I saw you at the Capitol Grill in Milwaukee when I was having dinner with Espo.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, all those guys. Well, yeah, no, Anthony's great. Lalota, Garbarino, Lawler, Nicole. You got a great group there and we got to make sure they all win because all great members, but they need to win so we can keep the majority. And I think they're going to. I think they're running great campaigns, and they're the kind of folks. I said this about both Nicole and Anthony when they were at the events, but it's for all of them. They haven't forgot the people they represent. They go to D.C. and they represent the people back home, and they're fighting for them. And they're doing what they said they would do. So. Great folks there in the greater New York area.
You know, when you mention all those great folks, and I agree with you, this is the great Jim Jordan, they're the reason why, if you believe this nonsense, and it is nonsense, but if you want to believe this nonsense, Jim, they're the reason why Joe Biden stepped away. Not because Obama said we're going to cut your nuts off. You have to leave. That's the end of it. No, because he was worried about the downvote. He was worried about the Anthony D'Espositos and Mike Lawlers. I mean, do you believe that?
Well, I mean, he stepped away because they forced him out. I mean, let's be honest. We saw that the whole country saw that debate on June 27th, and you know, it was frankly sad because you know whatever you think of Joe Biden's policies, I think they're pretty terrible. But you feel for the commander in chief of our great country, the greatest nation ever. Like that's our commander in chief. That's our president. So it was kind of sad. And then, of course, there were moments where it was just plain funny. I mean, when President Trump said, I don't know what he said. I'm not sure he knows what he said. I mean, there were moments where it was just funny, but that's why they forced him to step aside. I mean, you can believe the press, which is always a stretch because they're usually saying something inaccurate. It sounds like it was Pelosi who was the ultimate one who forced Biden out. But now they're riding this wave, Sid, because it's like, got rid of Biden, and it's this big pep rally they've been on now for like 4 or 5 weeks. But I think that ends quickly when we get to compare the past. The previous two administrations are now running for the top job. And you can look at what we had under President Trump, what we've had under Biden-Harris, and there is no comparison. And I think once we really get focusing on that and get to the debates, President Trump is going to win this thing, surge ahead, and be our next president.
I agree with you. Well, I tell you, I mentioned Milwaukee, Jim, and the president was just shot 2 days before. So we get there, right, Jim? We're all, the fight. We're happy he's alive. I was on that floor for 4 nights. Everybody speak all the, it was amazing. Look at what's going on in Chicago, Jim. Biden speaks Monday, okay? Monday. Yeah. Now, how disrespectful is that? Then he gets the hell out of there. Last night, the Obamas, they speak, and Harris, because supposedly she's upset about Biden, she goes to Wisconsin. You look at the unity the Republicans had. The Democrats are preaching unity. It's been anything but.
Yeah, and Biden spoke, I think he started at like 11:30 Eastern, yes. Which is like, holy cow. You know, even people who are like in politics and like, it's like, are we really going to stay up to 11:30 at night to hear Joe Biden yell at us, yell at the country, yell at the camera? Yeah. So I think a bunch of people probably by that point said, you know, I'll get a good night's sleep. But again, I think they can have all this they want, you know, the first black female running, the first Midwestern Tim as their VP and all this stuff. But at some point, you got to look at, In 3 years and 8 months, we went from a secure border under President Trump to no border under Biden-Harris. And they just made the border czar their nominee. We went from $2 gas to $4 gas. We went from stable prices to record inflation. We went from safe streets to record crime. And frankly, we went from a commander-in-chief in President Trump, where we didn't have Russia going into Ukraine, we didn't have Hamas and Hezbollah attacking our best friend, the state of Israel, to the crazy foreign policy we've had under Biden-Harris. So that at some point you just lay those two different administrations back to back that are now running for the top job. And you compare, and I think the American people said, I like what we had under President Trump, who did what he said he was going to do, who projected strength from the Oval Office, who had a great economy rolling for us. I mean, I think people are going to hone in on the issues. And like I said, President Trump's going to be our next president, I believe. Well,
your mouth to God's ears. Couple more will let you run. This is the great congressman out of Ohio, Jim Jordan, really one of the greats, and, of course, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. Now, I saw this story in today's New York Post, Jim. I'm sure most New Yorkers are not even aware of it yet, but turns out the speaker, your friend of mine, Mike Johnson, he's talking about the Biden administration, 300,000, listen, folks, 300,000 missing migrant kids. Modern-day slavery operation. Mike Johnson seems angry. What is this all about?
Well, this is the Inspector General report. And the Inspector General at DHS said that they can't account for where these kids are. And because they can't account for that, they can. I think the direct statement in the report was they can give no assurances. ICE can give no assurances that these kids aren't involved in trafficking and forced labor and all kinds of bad things. That is frightening. And this is what the Biden administration has given this country. We're on pace to hit 12 million migrants coming in the country in this administration. And as I said before, they just made the border czar their nominee. So this is and this report from the Inspector General is on top of the report we released in the Judiciary Committee 2 weeks ago, where the Biden administration cannot account for they released 99 individuals into our country who were on the terrorist watch list. So this is how bad it's gotten, and I think it's largely gotten this bad under this administration because they changed the policies on day one, and they've allowed now 10 million on pace to hit 12 million by the time this administration ends. It is frightening, and then you think about what's happening to these kids. It's just terrible. It's
terrible.
Just terrible, but
terrible.
That's the Democrats today.
Yeah, and you talk about the House, and Jim, you work so hard and terrific work. I have to say, you, Jim Comer, all of you guys, Nancy, all of you, on exposing Hunter Biden, and trying to put this kid away for doing things a lot more serious and not paying his taxes, all that money from all these enemy countries. Where are we in that effort?
Well, we recommended, we just released a 290-some page report on the impeachment inquiry that the House conducted. Remember, a year ago, the House of Representatives took a formal vote to move into the impeachment inquiry phase of our oversight, and we felt it was incumbent to put this report together. We recommend that articles be on abuse of power. This is the $20-some million that the family took in. They took it in because you always ask the question, what were they selling? What were they providing? And of course, we were told the answer to that question, given the answer to that question by Hunter Biden's business partner, Devin Archer. When we deposed him, he said they were selling access to the brand, and the brand was Joe Biden. The brand was the big guy. And he was involved, as Vice President Joe Biden was involved in meetings and dinners and phone calls with Hunter Biden, his business associates, these foreign entities who were giving money to the Biden family. And then, of course, the second article we recommend is obstruction, where this is the Biden White House and the Biden Justice Department not giving us access to the information that we're entitled to get, like the audio recording that Special Counsel Hur has of Joe Biden when they interviewed him in their investigation into mishandling of classified documents. And, of course, the lawyers we wanted to talk to who are part of the Hunter Biden investigation that the Justice Department would not let us have access to. We're in court over both of those issues. So we spell all that out in the report.
Wow. Last one, Jim. I'll be honest with you, because you and I are close enough for that to happen here. When Trump picked J.D. Vance, I wasn't sure. I kind of like Marco. I like Elise. I like you. I like a lot of folks, But I got to tell you, every day that goes by, I like this guy more and more. Now, some of that is because Walz is such a creep on the Democrat side. I mean, I know you know him. He's a real creep. But I just saw J.D. Vance on Fox and Friends and these other shows. This guy, every day he gets better. He's really good. I think he turns out to be the perfect guy for Trump, and he's from your state, Jimmy.
Yeah, he's a great guy and a smart guy. And this whole idea, I've been talking about this, but this whole idea that Tim Walz is the guy who used the term weird talking about JD. And I was telling a group the other day, I said, weird, are you kidding me? This guy came from the humblest of families on public assistance, United States Marine, graduates from Ohio State University, then Yale Law School, successful in business, best-selling author, sold so many darn books they make a movie about it, United States Senator from the seventh largest state in the Union, and vice presidential candidate for the Republican Party. And Sid, he's only 40.
Wow.
Like, that's not weird. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's exceptional.
Wow.
That's the American dream. And they're going to make fun of that?
Wow.
Keep it up. Keep it up. That's just going to help us win.
I didn't realize he was only 40, man. And the way you laid that out, Jim, that was perfect. Well, listen, it's always great when I see you. You're always great on this show. I mean this sincerely. You're one of the best, not just politicians, but best guys we've got in this country. So continued success, and I look forward to celebrating your Trump win with you come November. Jim Jordan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sid. Thanks for all the good work you do. Take care.
You got it, pal. There he is, the great congressman out of the state of Ohio, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. I really love that guy, I do. That's Jim Jordan.